I'm here with John Champagne of Brogo Permaculture Gardens, and we're talking about Rob Morrow's book, Earth Restorer's Guide to Permaculture. John, how long have you been teaching PDCs?
Oh, PDCs, 2004 was the first one in Mumbler School in Bega, and last year I just completed my 50th.
Wow.
Yeah, so a long time, both in Australia and lucky enough to be in a lot of Southeast Asia, and of course in the UK. Yeah.
And you've been familiar with Ro's work for a long time. How have you used her work in your teaching, and also what about this new amazing guide that she's put out?
Yeah, well, I think often I'm asked, John, what's the best book to cut your teeth on in permaculture? And I mean, although the designer's manual is held up as the Bible, it's a pretty hard-going book. So I've always said Earth User's Guide to Permaculture is probably the best way to get your toes wet into permaculture. So, and Ro has revised the original one once before just to update it. She's a stickler for, make sure it's right, and things change, and let's get it right. And so what she's done now is really add to those two earlier publications into an incredible volume. Largely out of the back of her work, what she does and where she goes, has really sort of, in terms of content that we teach in PDCs, it's new information. She's added topics, like the ocean and the social side with refugees and things like that, and really has updated it. So, if we're teaching PDCs around the world, we really need to have the most up-to-date information to pass on to students. That's what we're doing. We're trying to inform them into moving into a very uncertain future, and we have to be up-to-date with what's going on. And I love the way she's linked it into UN goals. That's really important. And so, as you go through the chapters, she really gets into looking at how this is connected with you, when what we're doing is right up their alley.
Absolutely, and this book is endorsed by the UN in their decade of ecosystem restoration.
Yeah. It's really important, to have that. You're not alone here. There is a global group looking at this planet, and we're both on the same page.
Yes, being linked in with other communities who have got the same mission as us. Yeah. And John, how have you found, when you've shared this with students and they've had their own copy and they've taken it home, how have you found they've responded to the book?
Well, look, really good. It's Ro. I think she's done a lot of things in her life, but one of them's being a school teacher, and I think a primary school teacher. So the way she delivers things is that anyone can understand. She's not into big words or just simplicity. I just love that simplicity with Ro. Uses the least amount of words that you want to convey. So in terms of anyone having access to this knowledge, it's one of her main focuses. And so it's very digestible for anyone who knows nothing about permaculture to pick up her work and understand it. There are great authors out there, and from an academic level, and they reach a certain group of people. But if you're a villager in Africa or someone in India, you really want to be able to present this information as simply as possible, and she's a master at doing that.
And Rob Allsop's illustrations also aid in that, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's great that she's kept Rob all the way through her. He just gets better at drawing pictures. Really simple. Again, just that use of drawing. Just to look at a picture and go, I get it. It's rare to be able to do that. So that combination, it just works so well.
Great. Well, thank you for your time, John. Thanks for sharing.
Lucy.